Okay, well, let's get started. My name is Bob Turner. I'm with Clients First Business Solutions, and thank you for attending our Acumatica Field Services webinar. We've got a full show here for you. I want to tell you real briefly about us, Clients First. We're a national organization with over 100 employees and 7 offices across the U.S. You can see that we've got experience in, or we focus in manufacturing job shops and MRO. We are profitable without debt, and we have great retention of our consultants. You can see that most of our folks have been with us more than 5 years, and a lot of them over 10 years. High industry standards means that we're recognized by some great folks like Accounting Today VAR and Bob Scott's Top 100 VAR list, as well as we're an Acumatica ERP partner, EA, and CSP cloud service provider. We do support other products other than Acumatica, but being that it's the fastest growing ERP out there, we're putting a lot of focus into this right now, but we also support Microsoft Dynamics AX, Dynamics 365 for operations. We have a Pro MRO for aviation and heavy equipment, which is maintenance, repair, and overhaul. Dynamics Nav, mobile field application development, UPIC for high volume manufacturing distribution, and mobile sales rep. I did promise that I'm not going to read the whole slideshow, so I'll do my best to not do that. Here's the agenda for what we're going to go through today. First, we're going to discuss the field services needs, that industry, and what goes into running your operation from a technical standpoint. We'll talk about how we got there at Acumatica, how we got into the field services portion in the first place, and then I'm going to turn it over to Tom Costa, who's going to join us from Acumatica for a demo of the piece itself. Tom Costa, for those of you who are not familiar with him, he joined Acumatica in 2015. He's a senior partner enablement and pre-sales specialist at Acumatica. He's a business management software expert with more than 30 years of industry experience. He has worked for SAP, Infor, Sage, state-of-the-art software, and Great Plains software, and now we're lucky enough to have him. He specializes in solutions for small to mid-sized enterprises. All right, so here's the field services. Let's start with talking about what field services typically needs. Now, all of these are individual pieces that need to be rolled up into one cohesive solution, starting with the customer contract management. This is where we put in the service order. It goes over to our dispatcher for schedule and planning, and then from there we'll send it out to inventory, so we make sure that we have all the right parts and inventory on the truck for the tech to go out and install and deliver, or just service. And from that point, it turns over to the mobile productivity, where our mobile app allows the field techs to do their stuff, record the services that they're doing, so we can send it back to the integrated billing and accounting portion of the module. But this is where we are getting rid of all that messy paperwork, where things get lost, where we're transmitting what was done, and we're able to attach photos and make sure that we have good record of what the folks have done in the field. Now, the nice thing about Acumatica is that it's an all-in-one location. This is all in one database, so it's real-time accessible from anywhere. If you have folks that are working from home, or they're mobile, or they're traveling, everybody can see what's going on with this specific account real-time. We're going to go through more detail when Tom does his demo, but I just wanted to give you the highlight. We'll go through each one individually here. Service contracts is where we start. The first box that was up in the corner, and these can be automated. This is what's important to understand. If you warranty work, or if you have regular service calls that you guys schedule ahead of time, we can have this all set up on the front side, and it can be broken down into different parts. If it occurs weekly, or you have your regular occurring intervals, we can break out the billing separately. If it's going to be a separate bill where you need to wait to see what parts were used, you can do that, or you can have it just automatically sent out on a standard schedule along with the service. We also have master contracts, so you can have a bunch of contracts rolled up into one. You can see that up there. A great thing to point out also is that this is part of an integrated CRM, so everything's all in one database. So when it comes to your customer service reps, if somebody calls in, they have real-time view of what's happening in the field, because it's all in the database and it's wrapped into the CRM. We can do appointment generation and multiple locations. Scheduling and planning. Now you'll see that we've got the calendar board here. This is very interactive. You can drag and drop into place. What's neat here is that we can start matching. You can see the valid calendar view. You can have a dispatcher that can see people's skill sets, your field techs, and we can match skill sets and geography and certifications based upon the need of the service call. So if somebody's in the northern part of the city, you know that you have your one rep that works up there. Well, we can drag him on that call and make sure that his skill sets and certifications meet the needs of that call. Once again, all can be managed. If you have a bunch of people in your organization, a bunch of field service reps going in different directions, we can manage it all from one location. And remember, it's real time, so they'll be able to see it on their mobile app. Inventory management. When it comes to go pack up our truck before we head out into the field, it's nice to know where we're going and what we're going to need for that call. So we can, once the order is sent over to these folks, they can have the inventory ready to be packed on their trucks, depending on if you decide to have the tech do that or your warehouse staff. They can make sure that the truck has everything, so once they head out for the day, they don't have to waste any fuel coming back to reload to the warehouse before they set out for any more appointments. All right, mobile productivity. Here is the mobile app. Now this, I want to highlight a couple features about this. First of all, you're going to see that we've got all the accessibility to the whole ERP on this mobile app. It is iOS and Android approved, so it works on either one of these operating systems. But depending on the role of the person that's using this, you can configure this to look and feel the way that you need that person to see it. So if somebody is out in the field, they don't really have any business getting into the AP or AR, then that's not going to be an option on their app. But what it is nice that they can have real quickly access what they do need, and they can make adjustments to the inventory once they show that they used inventory on a call. It can generate an invoice back in the warehouse so the warehouse can start building a replenishment list for that truck when it comes back in. And once again, it's automatically updating everybody in the company that's going to need to know what's going on with that. And it takes that, we're going to close the loop with integrated billing and accounting. Now here's the beautiful part. So this guy's going to head out, and as this person hits the streets, once the field work is done, they can either close out the system, and we have options on how it's going to be billed. So if it's going to be just a regular service call that they do on a regular interval, then we can just send the normal standard rate for that. If this is a type of business that requires that we account for all the little different parts and different hours for the call, we can account for that, and it can all be generated out in the field. So by the time that this service tech gets back to the warehouse or headquarters, our bill's all ready to go and through AR and can be sent out directly to the client. It can all be automatically generated, or it can be manual. We can set it all up on the backside the way that you want to see it. So to tie it all together, remember that Acumatica doesn't charge a per user license fee. So everybody in the company can have access to Acumatica ERP, and they can all see everything that's going on. And we want to encourage everybody to have be given access real time. This is really going to speed up every part of your business, having this all tied in one place. This is the way that Acumatica actually is built. So you're going to see the Acumatica platform here. Acumatica provides the core essential features down here in the bottom, and then on top of it we place all of the several modules that are integrated to the database that as your folks or as you're using the system, you won't notice the difference. You won't see anything. It's all performing in one website. It's browser-based. You go in and you'll see that once Tom shows his demo. And then over to the right, you'll see some vertical embedded applications. So anything above and beyond the core functionality of Acumatica, there are some certain areas that are built that we can add in, and the key to this is that they're embedded. So they still operate and look like they're inside of Acumatica, but may be a third-party solution. All right, some of the industries that we've already worked with our field services module. You'll see IT services and telecommunications are very popular with this. Manufacturers representatives, that's a pretty broad category, but that includes folks that need to do warranty work for big pieces of devices that they install. For commercial use, we've also got landscaping, security monitoring, and maintenance and repair organizations. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Tom Costa. And if you have any questions, please hold them until the end of the presentation, and Tom or I will be happy to address them. Tom, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me and see my screen?
I sure can.
Cool. So what we're going to do is kind of walk you through almost like a day in the life. So first we're going to sell a piece of equipment and schedule the installation of it and complete the installation or do the work in the field via my phone, and then wrap things up by going ahead and, after the work has been completed, invoicing the customer. So again, that full 360-degree view of like a day in the life of a transaction, which will give you I think a very good feel for what the product can do. So first off, let's start it off by selling the products. We'll go over to our service management and into sales orders. And from here, we're just going to go ahead and within Acumatica, we have a type ahead feature. So whenever you're in a data entry field, you're going to be able to just start typing. So in this case, I'm going to start typing the name of a customer. It's going to find it, and I typed enough of it to it only found one match, and I can hit return and select that customer. And because this is going to be an installation as well, we're going to go ahead and want to create that service order initially as well. So we're going to do both the sales order and the service order kind of almost like in parallel of each other. So we've got that queued up. So let's go ahead and start adding some of the items now. So the first item we're actually going to sell and install an air conditioner. So we'll go ahead and select it. And again, these are all the matches for what I typed in, but I'll select the air conditioner. And it'll be a quantity 1. And we'll sell that for just under $4,000. Now, what's interesting is I can actually just hit my down arrow key to select the next line. And this is going to be the installation. So again, we're just going to type in air conditioner installation. And in this case, that installation is a flat rate. Now, when we do our service work, they can be both time and material or flat rate types of services. So it's really up to you based on the type of work you're doing. Do we define it as a flat rate, or do we define it as a time-based per hour type of rating? So we've got our 2 items on this particular sales order, and like Bob had mentioned, we can actually transfer these goods onto the truck, or in this case, we can go ahead and ship the item out to the customer. So let's go ahead and just very quickly go ahead and create a shipment for this order for the air conditioner. And now we're going to drop this to the warehouse. So again, these are just more typical or standard Acumatica type of functions, not really specifically pertaining to field service, but it gives you that good day in the life that, we just sold something to the customer, but we actually have to get it out to the customer as well. And that's what we're creating now. So here's the shipment screen, which of course we'd be able to print the pick ticket, go ahead and pack it. But in this case, we're going to bypass a couple of those steps for time purposes, and we're just going to go ahead and confirm the shipment. And that's going to get the air conditioner out to the customer. So let's go back over to our sales order now that that's been completed. And it's actually going to remember the sales order that I was working on for me, so I don't have to even look it up. So there's the sales order. Now we're going to do the scheduling. And this is really what starts to differentiate Acumatica for some of the other standard ERP systems, which of course they could sell product and they can sell services, but it's the scheduling of those services that's really the differentiator with our product, because we do have this calendar board, which of course Bob had showed you before. Now in this case, I just have the the one appointment that I've already completed one earlier today. So let's go ahead and schedule this for 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's going to bring up the actual appointment. So when we're in the appointment screen, there's a couple of things that can happen as we're still getting it scheduled. The first thing that we're going to look at, I'm just going to bring this down so we can all see it a little bit better, and is we really want to be able to first save it so that it's going to get on the calendar board. But really, as we look at this, we want to be able to send, maybe we want to email the customer with a confirmation that, yes, we're going to be out at this time. We can also send an email confirmation out to the staff member that it's been associated with. So again, based on how we want to do things, we can send emails out directly from within Acumatica. So again, just being able to leverage the technology that Bob was speaking of earlier to be able to just do things as we go in a normal flow. So the appointment's now saved, so let's go ahead and close this up here. And what we'll find is that this appointment is now in green. So as this appointment goes through its life cycle, first, it's green, meaning we've confirmed the appointment with the customer. The second step, as the technician goes out and starts the appointment, it would go to a blue. So visual cues to help the dispatcher know who's doing what, where are they at in it, has he arrived at the appointment yet, has he started it, all of that background, but color coding them to make it easier to be able to identify, gee, do we have any texts that are available right now? So let's go ahead and minimize this screen for me and bring over my phone. Now, Bob, can you see my phone right now?
No, I can't see it right now, Tom.
Okay. So now can you see it? Can you see my phone now?
Yes, sir. There it is.
Cool. Okay, we got it. So here's my my phone. This happens to be an Android phone, but as Bob had mentioned, it works with iOS just as well. So let's go ahead and first off, we're going to do is just go into the Acumatica app, and we're going to log in as that particular technician, and we're going to view his appointments list. So we see the appointment. We've got one that's completed, and the first one hasn't. So let's go ahead and select the appointment whose status is still open, because it is showing me the one that I've already completed for the day. So really, the first thing that this technician might want to do is be able to view, well, where am I supposed to be going, right? So let's go ahead and view this address on a map. So we have that integration with Google Maps. So really, the heart of this is really to be able to leverage the technologies of the phone. So it's told me where I have to go. Okay, that's good. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get to the appointment, and we're going to start the appointment. So now we're changing the status of the appointment. So as we go back to Acumatica and look at that dispatch board, this appointment would have now changed to blue because we've arrived and we've started the appointment. So we're go ahead and working on it, and maybe we want to add some comments to the appointment. And one of the things that we can again do in terms of leveraging the device that we're using is we can actually dictate our notes about the appointment and say that our installation is now complete. And we'll go ahead and finish that off, and we'll go ahead and save it. So with any type of device, if the technicians are going to be trying to type on a small little device like their phone to record all of the notes that they have to be able to record about what type of work are they doing, chances are they're going to be very, very short in terms of all of that detail. But if they can just talk into their phone like they normally did, like I just showed, that's really going to, again, how can we start leveraging the native technology of the devices? So that's one of those areas as well. So let's go ahead and now that the work is done, well, one of the other things that we can do is go ahead and have the customer sign off on the appointment. So we'll just go ahead and click on sign, and Bob signed off on this, so he signed it, and we'll click OK. That image of that signature is now part of the appointment. It's now attached to it. So let's go ahead and just save that real quick. And from the mobile device, again, the last thing that we can do is we can go ahead and print that confirmation out and hand it to the customer. So if we had a Bluetooth printer in the truck or anything like that, we could now print this appointment confirmation and be able to have that. And really quick before I do that, I just want to go ahead and confirm that we have signed it. So in case they can't read Bob's signature, we can have him sign it there so we have it written down as well. And we'll go back and print the appointment. And now what we're going to be able to do is, I'll just highlight this a little bit more, is that Bob's signature is now on the confirmation saying that the work has been completed. So really, for a billing purposes, there's nothing that beats the customer signature saying the work was done in terms of collecting on everything. So let's go ahead and just go back to Acumatica now real quick. And now that the appointment's done, of course, we'll just save it real quick. And one last thing we can do with this is, as we are doing the work, maybe we may want to take a picture of the work that was done. So let's go ahead and just go into the camera functionality. And I'm just going to take a quick picture of my desk to show that we've completed it. We'll click OK. And now that image of the completed work is also now part of the appointment. So we've got the signature, we've got a picture of the work being done, and we'll go ahead and save that. So at this point, the work is now done and the appointment has now been completed. So let's go ahead and go back to Acumatica now. And I'm just going to stop sharing real quick my screen. And so, Bob, are you able to see my Acumatica screen now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and refresh this screen. And that green appointment is going to turn to gray because the appointment has now been completed. And we'll just wait for this to refresh real quick. There we go. And now that appointment went from green to gray. In the interim, if anyone was looking, it would have gone to blue as I was working on the appointment. Now, if I just go ahead and drill down on this, I'm just going to pull up that appointment real quick and show that all of that information that we captured on the phone has now been basically, because the phone was directly connected to the same database that Acumatica was connected to, it's all one system. So first off, under the comments, there's what I dictated into the phone is now in Acumatica for everyone else to see. The signature is also part of the system as well, along with any of the additional pictures that were available as well. So all of those images are there. It's signed off on Bob saying he's agreed to it. All that information has been brought over. And in addition to that, when I started the appointment, where exactly was I? Well, because obviously phones have GPS coordinates now, you can really never run. When I said I started the appointment, was I really at the customer's location? Well, when I started the appointment, it grabbed my location and fed that into Acumatica. And when I completed the appointment, it fed that information into Acumatica as well. So if we always wanted to check to see where that person was when they started the appointment or when they completed the appointment, we're going to be able to have all of this information in Acumatica for management to be able to take a look at. So let's go back now, and I'll just leave this page real quick and go back over to my system. So from here, the work's been done. We've delivered everything. The bid completed. The customer signed off on it. And of course, the last piece is to now prepare the invoice for the work that was done. So again, keeping that nice linear fashion, from the sales order, we're now going to be able to complete the invoice, and that's what it's creating for me right now. And so that's that fully integrated view from sales and distribution to field service back to accounting now. So having everything in one system obviously will streamline everything and again allow for a much easier flow of data. We're not going to lose anything because it's all in one system. I can't tell you how many times we've talked to people, customers in the field service area that do service, and they've got one system for service, they've got another system for accounting, they've got their scheduling and Outlook, for instance, and none of these systems really talk. So it's very hard to manage all of these projects. So here's our invoice, and we're just going to go ahead and release that invoice now. And when we release transactions in from the accounting perspective, really what we're saying is we're going to post it to the GL. So we're posting it to the ledger from the invoice. And in addition to that, we're actually doing one other thing. We're actually registering the air conditioner to this customer so that any additional warranty work that would be being done, as Bob had mentioned earlier, is also going to now be able to be tracked. So by creating the invoice and posting it to the GL, we're actually doing a couple of different things right now. So that's now been posted. So let's go back over to our service module and we'll go over to our equipment summary. And here's all of the equipment that we are currently work with. But we're really just going to skim this down a little bit to just our customer. So here are just the items that this customer owns. And as you can see, here's the air conditioner. And it's created an equipment card for us. So let's go take a quick look at that, because this is the heart of that whole service contract warranty capability. So from here, we're going to be able to see the equipment. We're going to see the customer that owns it. We're going to see the date that we installed it, because then that's coming over from the appointment now. And if we look at the appointment, we can actually start typing in any serial numbers for any subcomponents that this item might have. So we'll go ahead and type in that serial number of the compressor of the air conditioner. And as we can see, the vendor offers a 12-month warranty on the item. So that's going to be good through 3/9 of 2018, a year from today. So we're able to predefine what the normal warranty periods are for the equipment. We're able to create this equipment card. That's now, when we do a repair order, we're now going to be able to specify which specific item. If this customer owns a lot of equipment from us, we can now specify the exact piece of equipment and now be able to track all of the different appointments we've had for that equipment. So let's just go back over to our service order. And we'll go ahead and just very quickly create a quick service order. And again, it's going to be for the same customer that we had been using. So we just type ahead. And now when we go ahead to add a line for this type of service they want, we can see that it's going to be for a repair service as opposed to an installation. And this billing is going to be based on time, but it's now going to give us that ability to look up the exact piece of equipment that we're going to do the work on, in this case, the air conditioner that we just installed. Now, because of that, we can now drill down to see the warranty period. Yes, it's under warranty, so we can make this appointment non-billable. At this point, we can save it, and this service order would now go through the same process that we had just showed with the installation, where we would schedule it, complete the work on our mobile device from the technician, and then be able to complete the work. So that really gives you a good 360-degree view of a fully integrated service management suite that's been integrated with not only inventory, so we know what we're selling or any repair parts that we have to take off the truck to go ahead and fix this item, but also the accounting perspective as well, to be able to say, we're now going to post this to the GL. And having it in one integrated system is going to ensure that no invoice is not sent to the customer, that no appointment goes unbilled, because it's in one system. And we're going to be able to interact with the technicians from their mobile devices. So Bob, why don't I bring things back over to you? This concludes the demonstration of Acumatica Field Service.
All right, thank you, Tom. And I checked the question and answer session, and I don't see anybody that has any questions right now. I appreciate you taking the time, Tom, to show us the demo. And if anybody has any questions out there, please feel free to reach out. Here's my email address that you can see on your screen. Oh, wait, we may have one question. Hold on a second. Do you have both the sales order and the service order, or can you schedule the sales order to field staff and have them bill directly to the sales order?
Typically, what we're going to do is the sales order is really designed to sell the equipment to the customer. We create the service order to go ahead and do that work. So we've kind of, it's really in essence, a two-step process to be able to say, the sales order is for the warehouse to be able to make sure that the product either gets on the truck to be delivered or gets shipped out to the customer. The service order that's created simultaneously is actually where we're going to do the work against.
Okay. Next question I've got here for you, Tommy. What if collection takes place on site?
Okay. Currently, we don't take payments on the mobile device for that appointment. So let's say it's $75 an hour, we go out, we clean the air conditioner, and we want to get payment through like a credit card, for instance. That is going to be one of our future enhancements to our mobile device, that ability to, basically swipe a credit card right on the phone, get it authorized, get that money into us at the time the service is performed. So it is something that we are adding to the product.
Okay, but in the interim, we can just send out through the invoicing process, and then.
Correct.
Do you have any scheduling time on the release of the payment site?
Yes. Well, when for the payment itself or for the invoice, I did it as a one-off transaction. However, on our invoicing, and much the same as we can, we have a process that could be able to take all of the shipments that have been gone out today or the work that's been completed, and we can schedule those to run automatically, including emailing the invoices out to the customers. Can also be basically a scheduled task.
Excellent. Okay, I don't have any other questions here. We'll wait a couple seconds and see if any more pop up. Hopefully those were answered to everybody's satisfaction. Well, we certainly appreciate everybody's time. Once again, here we'll leave the contact information up for a couple minutes at the end of this, but we're going to go ahead and conclude this right now. Thank you for everybody's time, and hopefully this is helpful for you. You can see how you can revolutionize your business using Acumatica Field Services. Everybody have a great day. Thanks.